I thank God for His Spirit that's already broken out here
Yeah.
today. For we see the one accord Spirit when two people speak the same thing and they've never talked about it.
Right.
That's exciting.
God.
That's very exciting. And interestingly enough, I want to take you back to when you were a child also, to start out this morning. Is that on? Yep. The title of today's message is Stop, Drop, and Roll. And it's not a dance move. We can turn it into one, though. Or a workout. Stop, drop, and roll. If you recall, one of the first principles that you're taught as a child is to stop, drop, and roll. And that's if you find yourself on fire. Yes. Fire is such a consuming force, and it's such a danger, especially for children. You remember back, and I don't think they still do this, but I can remember so clearly growing up, they had those silver stickers that you put on your bedroom window if you were a child.
I still see them.
Are they still around? So that firefighters would know where the children were to be able to get to them first, because children have a fascination with fire, because most of them haven't learned yet that it burns and that it can kill, right? And so as you go through the training, usually, it starts in kindergarten or whenever you start going to school, they teach you to stop, to drop, and to roll. Stop what you're doing, get down on the ground, and just roll. But notice it doesn't say stop, drop, roll, stop. Right? The roll is actually the continuation. Right? Stop, drop, roll. Did you stop rolling? I didn't tell you to stop rolling. Keep rolling. You roll until somebody else comes to you, or to safety till the fire's out. Right? So point number one that you need to take from today that we're going to get into is stop, drop, roll. It is not stop, drop, roll, stop. You get that? I find myself fascinated with the fact that so many of these earthly principles that we call earthly principles actually really aren't earthly principles. They're actually biblical principles or spiritual principles that the world has just taken and applied to different things. Right? And so today we're going to look at stop, drop, and roll as a spiritual principle. Understand that we use stop, drop, and roll when someone is on fire, right? And we're going to use fire as being symbolic of a hot time in your life, a tribulation, a testing, something that we call the midnight hour. And it's during these times that we specifically have to be able to understand and apply the principle of stop, drop, and roll. Let me stop for a second and say this. First of all, notice that I said understand and apply. We have an issue. I said we, not just you, not just me. All of us at some point have had the issue of we can understand something, and it's not that we can't apply it, we choose not to apply it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Right? I can understand this, I know how to do this, but I don't feel like it today.
That's a refusal.
That's a refusal.
That's so
Right?
true.
And so let's look at this first. Let me break this down to you. Let's look at the stop. The stop. So the first stop in the spiritual that happens is this. You sense a change within you. You ever have a moment where your day is going, and I'll explain this to you so you know what I'm talking about. You have a day and everything's going fine, and then all of a sudden you feel almost a anxiousness or like something's off, something's not right.
Yeah.
Okay? That is actually your call into prayer. Something's not right. You stopped, you've sensed a change, right? So you know that when you have this tugging on, it's actually a tugging on your spirit, okay, because the emotion of your soul has changed. Jesus said himself that he was saddened in his soul, is what he said, right? It's that tugging to get you into prayer. Do you understand that? Because a soul is a place of what?
Refuge.
Seat of emotion.
Your soul is a place of what?
Refuge.
No, your
Seat
soul
of
is not your
emotion.
refuge. Your soul is your seat of
To
emotions.
go.
Okay?
Oh, a seat of emotion.
Yes, remember the word matrix? So those emotions that your soul feels, the sadness, the anxiousness, something is off, right? That's the seat of your emotions. That's where it comes from. In your spirit, remember we talk about this a lot. There's always a tugging on your soul.
Mhm.
One from the flesh, one from the
Yeah.
spirit, right?
Right.
So when you get called into prayer, there's a tugging on by your spirit on your soul to get into prayer. But understand at the same time there's going to be a tugging from the other side too,
Always.
right? And it's
That's the
simple.
battle.
It's simple. It can be something as simple as this. What is wrong with me? There is nothing wrong here. I'm feeling, this is foolish to feel this way. I don't need to get into prayer.
Oh,
Yeah, you do,
there's something wrong there, right there.
right? Because this may not be what you feeling. Actually, what you're feeling 99% of the time isn't even about you.
No.
That's true, yeah.
It's about somebody else
Mhm.
that you need to get into prayer for.
Right.
Or about somebody else is going through something and God wants to reveal it to you so that you can help them.
That's right.
Right? Something as simple as that is the war that we face minute by minute in our lives. So that's the stop. To recognize the change within and to enter into his presence. You stop what you're doing. And here's the tough part, okay? Because oftentimes when I say this, we think about, well, I'm studying the word and I feel a change. What if you're in the middle of J.C. Penney and you feel this? What if you're in the middle of your job and you feel this? What do? You got to use the bathroom. You still have to stop, right? You can't wait and say, I'll do it when I get home. You missed an appointment, right? It doesn't matter where it is.
And to flip that a little bit, you said, what if you're in the Word and you feel that change? Almost every time we're in the Word, I feel that change.
Yes.
For the better.
For the better. Yeah.
Not really
Yeah.
so much of heaviness, but sometimes it changed my whole day.
Yes.
Even though I thought things were all right, they just got better.
They get better, yes.
Yeah, but you're
Yeah.
right though, because sometimes I don't understand what He placed on me sometimes, so I ask God for the discernment, or I'll have to make a couple phone calls, make sure things are okay.
Yep. Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have to sense that change is there.
Yes. Yes. You know, it's interesting. Dave pointed out something, a little bit of a side note here, but I have to take a minute and point this out. We talk about, when you're in the Word and you sense a change doesn't always have to be bad. Okay, like he said, it's a good thing, right? And I hear people often say, I never knew it could get this good. Until the next time it takes another leap up and it gets better, right? And you move another step. But on the flip side of that, there's also if any of you have struggled with issues internally, okay, I know you have. Whether or not you admit it or not, that's up to
Yeah.
you.
Right.
But have you ever woken up in the morning and you feel worse? Okay, let me back up. So you're having a bad day, right? And you say to yourself, I'm just going to go to bed. Because when I wake up tomorrow, it'll be better.
Yeah.
Your parents always taught you a good night's
Yeah,
sleep
but
cures everything. Do you remember that, right?
What could be worse?
And so you go to bed, instead of shake it off, we try to sleep it off. We wake up the next morning and you're worse than you were the day before, right? And you go about your day feeling worse, but you don't do anything to change it. And you wake up the next morning feeling worse than the day you did before that. See, there is the action that we refuse to do because we know how to fix it. Right? Because you have babysitters here, right, while dad's away, that have taught you over and over again. This is how you fix the problem. Remember, leaders always come with a solution to the problems. Right? You look at Jesus, you look at the life of any true apostle in the Bible, and everything was a teaching moment.
That's right. That's right.
Especially Paul, right? And I'm not putting him above Jesus. I'm just saying I study especially Paul. Whenever he points out an issue or gives an order to do something, he always follows up with the directions on how to do it. Right? You don't tell a kindergartner to write an essay and then walk away and say, give it to me when you're done. You teach them how to do it.
Right.
Right? And then it's still not done because you sit and work on it with them to show them what they did wrong and have them do it again. That's what leaders do. That's what true apostles did all throughout the Bible. So the problem is not that you don't have it, it's you choose not to employ it.
That's good.
Amen?
And that disciple or kindergartner isn't to run, he's to stay in that class.
Yes.
Yes, right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yes. It's interesting. Speaking of running, because you don't even have to be in kindergarten to run. Because as we age, we still run.
Oh,
And you know what the interesting is? The older you get, the faster you run. The quicker you are,
Yes.
right? And so this week, let me just give you an example. I had a student who we had to dismiss from the program. And I never like to lose kids ever. But it's something that happens, it's reality. And the dismissal always comes because they refuse to employ the skills they had been given. And so the student, wouldn't come see me. He was very ashamed when it finally came down to, you can't come here anymore. Very ashamed, I know what you did for me, and I didn't use it. Well, it's not really about me, and it's not really about him. That's always the mindset I have. I can't impose. What's that?
But it grieves.
Oh, definitely it grieves me. I can't impose my beliefs on somebody else. I can't expect them to believe what I believe, but I always expect that they're going to respect it, right? And so this kid was running from me. You don't run from Erica, because I know where you live.
So hunt you down.
So Friday on my lunch break, I told my boss, I said, I'm going to be late coming back from lunch. He said, where are you going? And I said, I'm going to the student's house because he's avoiding me and we're going to have a talk. And so I went to the house and I knocked on the door, and nobody knew I was coming. I knocked on the door and he came to the door. He opened the door, so I said, hi. I said, you really thought you could run and hide from me? And he started to cry and said, I'm so glad you're here. I just want to talk to you. And so understand something, that you can run from God as much as you want, okay? But he's going to find you. He's going to find you. When you don't employ the skills that you need and you feel like you've been pushed on the outside, it doesn't mean that people love you any less.
That's right.
But you have principles that you have to follow
Right.
that can't be changed just because I love you.
That's right.
That's
right.
These are my
That's right.
rules.
Powerful point.
Yeah.
These
That's
are my
a very
rules.
powerful point.
I have to follow them.
Yeah.
I don't have a choice. And it doesn't mean I love you any less. It actually means I love you more.
That's right,
true.
yeah. That's right.
So when you get to the point in your walk, and you will if you haven't yet, where you feel like you've been pushed outside the crowd, that the circle is here and you're standing on the outside because nobody really loves you, understand that you feel that way only because of you.
Right.
It's actually not the way people see you and not the way people feel about you.
That's right.
That's
Amen?
powerful.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Debbie?
And our hearts hurt.
Absolutely. Or should hurt.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Your heart's hurt. Nobody likes to lose anybody.
No.
Whether it be death or whether it be temporary, loss hurts.
That's right.
Yeah.
And even Jesus was grieved over and over.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
By the actions of
I have to stop there for a second, because we oftentimes, like Debbie said, it hurts when we lose people. Dave said he was so grieved over the loss of people time and time again. When we get hurt by people, whether they walk out willingly or we have to leave them, we have this natural tendency to put up a wall because it doesn't feel good to get hurt. So instead of getting hurt over and over again, let me just pack my heart with walls so that nobody can get there again. And we close ourselves off from feeling.
Yeah, that's true.
What if Jesus had closed himself off from feeling those hurts? Because he was hurt way more than any of us.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Oh, yeah.
So how do we keep our hearts tender? How do we keep open so that we can still feel what others feel?
You stay vulnerable instead of hardened.
And how do you do that? You stop. You always have to stop. Stop what you're doing, seek his face. Stop what you're doing, seek his face. Because it's natural. There's nothing you're going to do to make your walls go up. It's a natural reaction of the flesh. So you have to be always aware, like Debbie said, stay vulnerable, stay in the word. You have to always check. We always say check yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
How hardened has my heart become? Do I care that I haven't seen that person in a month? Sometimes your answer is going to be no, I really don't.
Very powerful. It's like, you know, Jesus was very compassionate,
Yes.
and he had passion.
Mm-hmm.
All the same leaders, but people that are leaders and very compassionate and have passion for God and very compassionate towards others actually feel the hit when they know that they're, anyway, they're sensitive. Their feelings are sensitive too.
Yes.
But they're so compassionate for the others that they put the feelings aside and keep moving.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they feel it,
Yes.
because you can't be compassionate without having feelings
That's right.
of
Yes.
how people treat you or you react to you or whatever, but it doesn't move them from their passion from God to keep moving
Right.
and doing the work with him.
Right.
But the whole time you read Paul's letters, he admonished them to do this and that, and they said, well, he was very strict. But yet he showed them the love and the kindness and of grace and, you know, and love.
Yes.
That God, and he put himself aside all the time, and you see that in true leaders today as well.
Paul was all about love.
Dying out to self.
Whether people realize it or not, because again, people do think he's a very hard. He said himself, although I may be rude in speech, he was bold, he was straightforward, but Paul was actually all about love.
He was actually operating in the tough love.
Yes, yes.
Because as a leader, you have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or you allow yourself to become a part of that instead
Yes.
of moving forward. It
Yes.
affects you, and you don't function the way that God's called you to function.
That's right. That's right.
And you spoke it, and it's a powerful point that you made, that he didn't change the laws of God in order to make your situation better.
Right.
Because he had to work within that framework of
Yes.
love itself too,
Yes.
as well.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Anybody else? So that's the drop, of the stop part of the stop, drop, and roll. So let's move on to the drop. We understand the stop. The drop is twofold. First, you drop once you feel the call, the stop. The drop is to drop what you're doing and enter into prayer. And we already talked about it does not matter what you're doing. The call is the call, no matter when you sense it. The second part of the drop, or the second fold of the drop, is this. You drop your own will, which is called submitting, and you submit unto his will. You drop what's important in your eyes for what's important in his eyes. I might not think that it's important to go to the grocery store right now. But if God says, you need to go to the grocery store right now, I have to stop what I'm doing, and I have to submit to his will or his plan or his orders for my life. That's just a simple what's the word?
Example.
Thank you, example. I was thinking end sample. You know, like I was being real biblical right now. So that's the stop. There's the drop. So what is the roll?
Keep going.
full.
Full, yeah.
Because understand that stopping really isn't stopping,
No,
right? Okay?
right.
And the dropping really isn't a permanent place, physically, right? So you enter into prayer You humble yourself down to Him, and then you keep going.
I've heard this recently.
Have you heard, let's roll? That's constant, it doesn't change.
That's
That's
true.
right,
Okay? That's like in Genesis, the first words, let's roll.
till you reach your
Till
destination.
you reach Revelation. Okay? It's rolling with the flow of the Holy Ghost.
Sometimes you gotta roll the punches.
Rolling with the punches.
Can we also look at it this way too, the add-on to what you said? Okay, if we start dropping roll, let's use for example, I think that was Donna said that we go, sometime if you're on your job, you'll take a break and go into the restroom and start praying. That's the whole motion. You with me? But, after you come out of the restroom, to keep rolling, meaning that you'll go back to your workstation or whatever you're doing on your job and keep praying under breath.
Yeah, yeah.
That could